the entire session on YouTube for the future references. Thank you so much. So GLT District Lion Rohel explain about the midwinter refresher by District 16J. Refreshers are always good. Everybody needs some kind of refresher, and this is the midwinter refresher for trainings for our Lion Club member. And today we are going to have our last episode, My Lion, My LCI, learn about ourselves. And our instructor is none other than PCC Lion Mahesh Chitnis. He's a well-known face in Lions Club International in our district, multiple district, and the international. So little brief intro about him. Lion Mahesh is a dynamic servant leader of Lions Club International who is volunteer to serve. He devoted to promoting hands-on volunteering service to help our communities. He is recognized worldwide for his compassion and innovative service ideas. He is a world-renowned faculty on volunteerism and public relation, accomplished team builder in for nonprofit and a profit and a nonprofit sector. Mahesh is recognized for his work in youth and women empowerment and a social inclusion. He has motivated several teenagers to become effective leaders. He has worked with several religious, ethnic, and regional organizations to achieve social harmony and symbolistic relationship in our communities. He closely works with individuals with special needs to provide their quality of life. This is just a small, brief info about Lion Mahesh Chitnis, and currently he is serving as a state advisor of multiple district 16J. Lion Mahesh, the floor is yours. We all are eagerly waiting to learn about My Lion, My LCI, and all the hidden elements of Lions Club International.
Okay, I'm at home. When I'm at home, I don't need any introduction, do I?
I know.
So again, thank you very much for the kind introduction, and thank you, Rohel, for inviting me to talk tonight. But tonight, as we were discussing, it is a Friday evening, and we chose one of these technical, boring topics for the evening. I have been working on training My Lion since July of 2017. If I don't want to remember actually that particular time, but it was like the district governor-elect's seminars going on before the centennial celebration, and 3 of us were designated to talk about the products like My Lion, the social media, My Lion, and public relation in general. And it was a horrible experience. So since then, I was horrifying some people about My Lion. So what I decided today, that we are not going to talk about My Lion. Okay, the title may be My Lion. Governor Varsha might have said that we are going to talk about My Lion, but just forget about it. Let's talk about stories. Let's celebrate our service. So that is why I just put a small note in text before, and I just told you about that also. Can somebody tell one incident in their life, maybe some small little sacrifice that they have done, or some service that they provided to somebody? Just a 60-minute snapshot of what you did that you will remember for a long time, for the rest of your life. You can raise your hands, and Lion Rohel will allow you to unmute.
Okay, yeah. Please raise your hands. This is a great time to share. Okay, we have
Bob.
And
Bob and Kashmiri.
Just so have one person really quickly. We can give everybody else a chance later.
Okay,
let's start with one.
So Bob
Kaplan.
Yes.
Bob, the floor is yours.
Okay, I know Rohel knows this story, but I go to the Philippines a lot, and I have some very close friends there that live a very simple life. And when the pandemic started, my friend's business, who is giving boat rides to tourists, dried up. He hadn't had any customers for 3 months. And his wife has a little store on the front of their house that they sell little groceries at. Well, they were down to using the food in the grocery store to eat, to survive. So I have a condo there and I keep a little emergency fund of about $200. So I told my friend, go to my condo, get that money and buy some food. And he went and did that and sent me a bunch of pictures. But what he did is, in their little village where there's a lot of very, I won't call them poor, but very people that live very simple lives that didn't have a lot of food or a lot of money. And he used that $200 and he bought food for everybody. He bought rice and cans and put it in bags to distribute in their little village. And he sent me the pictures and it brought tears to my eyes, and I still get kind of choked up thinking about it.
Thank you, Bob. Mahesh, can you allow, so we can allow Pradeep, because he's, I think, a new lion look like.
Sure.
Pradeep,
Go ahead.
Pradeep unmute. Rohil, can you unmute Pradeep?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, Pradeep.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm new to this team. I'm glad to meet you all. And just so you know that for the last 10, 15 years, I've been sponsoring 2 girl childs in India. And what I do with them is I sponsor their education, the lodging, the uniform, the books. And once a year, I pay for both kids the whole 1 year's whatever charges are. So that gives me the little satisfaction that I am giving something back to the society. It's not much, but at least I'm doing something, and I really want to grow it more. So that is something I've been doing it for the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, and I will continue to do it. That's it.
Thank you so much, Bob and Pradeep. See, like sort of, we have, each one of us have some of these stories. And even if there is something that both Bob and Pradeep were talking about, they let some of their money go out of their pocket. But that sacrifice, that going away, gave you that warmth inside you, that pleasure. And that story is not only for you. It is not only for the people who receive that service, but this story can trigger this feeling of giving among all of us. So all of us need to know these stories. One of the things that our founder always keeps talking about is that steam that blows the whistle never turns the wheel. Yes, that is true. But at the same time, at some point of time, that whistle also has a purpose. And we are going to talk a little bit about the purpose of the whistle and how to use that whistle today. Okay? No complicated stuff, just plain simple storytelling. We have been telling stories for forever, since this caveman writing or rather drawing on the walls of a cave, to the today's man and a woman writing on the Instagram or wall of a Facebook. We all keep telling the stories, and we always love telling the stories. It is not about whether we want to tell the story or not. It is about how we are going to tell the story that can impact, that can motivate, that can change lives. And that is what we are going to briefly talk about for next 30-40 minutes. Let's quickly talk about how stories help. How stories help the individuals. Individuals are clubs in this particular context. We are going to talk about our clubs today. So when I talk about individual, it is individually you and the club. A story can be a good way to transfer knowledge. For example, let's take example of Lion Bob. Okay, he is here in US. There is a family in the Philippines which was suffering, and he just like sort of had some emergency money there which they could use to sort of have a loaf of bread on their table. This knowledge that like sort of even if you are not there, you will be able to help somebody who might get in trouble, some emergencies and stuff like that. Okay, our stories might help us in having that knowledge. We can transfer this knowledge through our stories so that other can learn and they can use those stories. Other way to learn from the stories is derive best practices. How to, again, let me take the same story. Or the story that Dan Bob was talking about. Okay, all of us travel globally. But Bob had made an attempt to keep some money in the place that he visited so that there is some emergency money available there. So that is a good practice that some of us might not be following. So from somebody else's stories, we can learn about the best practices. Other thing is building local pride. Okay, it is not only about us, our clubs, but whatever that we do, our town, the residents of our town might be proud of the work that Lions do. Our town might be proud of the work that we do. So letting them know what we do is very, very important. The next point that I have mentioned on the slide is health and well-being. Okay, when you're sharing your day-to-day stories, we know that things are okay with you or what is going on in your life. Just take example of social media today. Okay, if somebody is very, very active, if somebody is like, say, our district governor accessing her Facebook every day, and if I don't see any post on Facebook for a week, that gives me a feeling that, oh, there is something might be wrong and I should go and check up on her. So having a continuous health check through these stories also is an important factor. And we don't do that, but appreciation is also an important factor. When we tell the stories, people appreciate. Unless I knew the story of Bob and Pradeep, how would I appreciate what they do? Okay? So having that helps us in appreciating the kind of work that our Lions and our clubs do. How does it help our association? One thing that helps our association is understanding the direction. Okay, which direction that our clubs are going, which direction our service is going. We might have like the 5 core causes now, like 6-7 years back, we had 4 core causes. And when our association, our leaders were going through our reporting, they figured out that like, oh, we have to work on diabetes. There are so many clubs who are working on diabetes. So diabetes was added as our core cause. The understanding the direction would be because of the stories that we have. This also helps in building the partnerships. Varsha was mentioning a couple of times when she was introducing me about our relation with Special Olympics. Lions have built a relation with Special Olympics International for last 20 years now. We will be celebrating the 20-year anniversary of our collaboration. That partnership we could build because the work that we do, that they knew. Just to give a quick story on Special Olympics, was Special Olympics were working on several projects. And one of the projects that they were doing is enhancing the work of enhancing the abilities of their athletes. One athlete in Canada always used to come second in sprint. He was a sprinter, and he always used to come second. He never came first. He never came third. They tried to figure out why is that. The reason was he couldn't see beyond 2 or 3 feet. He was a fast runner, but he couldn't see beyond 2 or 3 feet. So the way that he used to do is the front runner, he would just follow that front runner. So when front runner crosses the ribbon, okay, he would be the next person to go. So Tim Shriver, who is the chairperson of Special Olympics, decided that we need to work on their eyesight. Okay, it is not just one person, but there are a lot many people who have vision issues. So then he came to know, he knew that lions, the preventable blindness, eradicating preventable blindness is our core cause. And then he approached Lions clubs, and we provided a program called Opening Eyes. So Opening Eyes provides the vision equipment, like the sight equipment. It could be eyeglasses or whatever that they need for their particular sport. That Lions started providing for last 20 years. So that partnership we could build because the Tim Shriver heard our stories about sight preservation. And then these stories get our community involved into our association. We get members, we get these partners, we get ideas, donations, and everything that can help us in providing the service that we provide. That is how it helps the association. How does it help the beneficiaries? Sometimes people don't even know what services that are available. I have a very, the example that I have always touches my heart all the time. During the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy, I'm also a member of a community emergency response team of my town. And I was helping them to manage the shelter after the night of that big flooding and the winds on that night in Sayreville area. That night, we realized we had about 150 people in the shelter, and we had hardly 30 blankets. So long story short, I talked to our district governor, and we worked on the emergency grant. We bought several blankets to be distributed to people because the winter was coming. And we started, when we got the blankets, by the time the shelter was closed. But we knew that people needed blankets. But the sad story is nobody approached us. Nobody approached us because nobody knew that Lions Club is an organization that helps during the emergencies. So if we would have had that story ahead of the disaster, people knew that Lions help us in doing ABCD things. They would have come to us and we would have helped them. The other thing is about the scalability. Um, the projects, even if we do certain projects, if we tell a good story, people would know whether like sort of this project can be a bigger project or not. Okay, I'll just give you an example of eye screening. We do eye screening all the time with the schools. This particular school that I recently worked never heard about our story, and when we went in there, they had only about 200, not even 200. They had about 100 children to be screened, and they called us for 6 hours. Okay, we usually do 100 students in probably an hour and a half. So they did not understand the scalability of the project that we were doing. So the story of scalability, the story gives the scalability to our projects also. And also when we have story, it improves our service impact in multiple ways. It helps us as Lions to understand the responses of that stories and improve our service. And also it can encourage people. It can motivate other organizations, other individuals to provide the service, and the overall service impact that we might end up having would be much higher. And others who are not us as well as the beneficiaries, the other can get motivated. It can just give encouragement, even if not motivated to work. Say something like times like now, when we all hear only the bad news. There are so many people affected by COVID, so many died, so many lost jobs. And when we have so much negativity, a good Lion story can encourage people. They can relieve them from their depression and so on, and bring in that positivity in life. So telling the story is really, really critical. And all of us, we do tell the stories with our social media, our friends, while we sit in a coffee shop having a cup of coffee, or in the night added beverage. We tell our story, but we need to know how and where and how we should talk about our story. Okay, now when we are talking about the service stories, what is service? Okay, sometimes we get very, very confused by what the service means. First, the actual service activity, the hands-on service activity, like eye screening or cleaning up the shores, or the feeding the hungry, or providing a cataract surgery for somebody. All these are like the actual service activities. That is what we are known for around the world, the kind of service that we provide, the hands-on service that we provide. So those need no further explanation. Secondly, the advocacy, which is the part which is little misunderstood. We always talk about advocacy, meaning going and pitching for changing a legislation. Yes, that is the advocacy that we need to do for our purposes. But at the same time, creating awareness and education of our causes into our community and policymakers is also a service that we provide. Changing a legislation. I know that Lions at various states have worked very, very diligently on providing the accessibility legislation, bringing in ramps into the public areas and stuff like that. So that is also a service that we should be providing. Third is the treasure, the financial support. We giving our own donations or raising funds for a particular cause falls into this category. Beyond this, the service that Lions provide is sometimes administrative, helping with the project, doing the project management, planning a project, and so on. At the same time, sometimes we just go overboard when we report our service or tell our story, and we report something which is not really a service. What is that? What service is not the story of a Lions Club? A personal favor. Say I ask my son to do something for me, and he does it. Okay, now he's a Leo Lion, so he might just say that, like, oh, I got a bottle of water from my dad, and that he can report as a service. Or somebody can report that, like, oh, okay, I was a basic courtesy. I was at a restaurant today, and there was a guy coming in. I opened the door for him or her. Okay, that is not. It is a nice story, but that is not a service story for the club. We should not be reporting these personal favors that we do. I cleaned up the driveway of my neighbor. That is what we are supposed to do. That is the personal relations we have. But we don't report that as a service. We don't report that as a story. Sometimes we end up reporting stories that are worked with other organizations. We all work for several other entities besides Lions Clubs. So we should not be reporting service that is done with some other organization, because the credit belongs to that organization. That story is the story of that organization. That is not our story. And then last but not least is we don't report the story where we get some remuneration for. So for example, if tomorrow, I'll take the same example of eye screening. Tomorrow, if I become an expert, which I'm not, but if I become an expert on screening the eyes, and like a school hires me to screen their students, and they pay me for doing that, that will be not treated as the Lions service story. Moving on, what are the ingredients of a good story? First is we should talk about, first we have to talk about which service that we provided. But I'm just in this particular slide, I'm think the service description is already taken care of. We have to talk about the people served, so we know the impact of our service. How many volunteers we had, the Lions and Leos and our friends and families and the partners we had, how many of them were with us while we were providing a particular service? Total number of voluntary hours. Because as we know, when we have a big project, there are some people who work for a short period of time, some people work for months together on a project. So even if the number of volunteers sometimes may not reflect the amount of work that went on, so number of volunteering hours should be a part of the story. If we raise funds, how much funds did you raise? How many monetary contributions that you had from your club, from any other entities, non-Lions, your friends and families and local businesses? You should record that into your story. And the funds donated, the charitable funds that are given away for another charity or an individual for certain things, which is not like a hands-on service, but the money, the monetary funds that are donated to somebody. So that is also one of the things that we need to record in the story. Okay, this is like one of the questions that I always get. People come up with particular story and ask me how to calculate the number of people served. I have seen some interesting reports about when people are reporting service. I've seen a report which says that like, oh, I attended an international convention and the people served are 60,000 people. Okay, did we really serve 60,000 people? So this particular activity of attending a meeting, attending a convention should not have the number of people served. So again, what is that? How do we calculate people served? Simple thing, a few steps. One is determine whether it is a service or not. A fundraiser, just a donation to someone, meeting, picnic, and all the fellowship activities don't require a number of beneficiaries. Okay? That is a like donation is service that we are providing, but you don't need to know how many people. Suppose if you donate $1,000 to LCIF, how would you know which service was provided with that $1,000 and how many people were served because of those $1,000? Second step is counting versus estimating. At times we have a precise data that is available. For example, eye screening. We know how many people, how many students we screened. The meals preparation. We know how many hungry stomachs we fed. But at times we don't know and we have to estimate. For example, beach cleaning. You cleaned up the beach. How many people did you serve? If you put up a tree, how many people will be taking advantage of the shade of that tree, and how many people taking advantage of reduced carbon footprint and so on. So at that time, we have to guess, we have to estimate the number of people served. It can be done with a number of ways, including there is public data available at times that this particular beach is visited by so many people and they like so many of them were affected by that unclean beach. That data, if it's available, you can use that for your story, your report. And you can also consult the local authorities to get that data. Step 3, frequency of the service. If your service is one-time service, or if it is a monthly, weekly, daily service, or it is an ongoing service with no time limits. How many times that you do the story, and when you report? Do you report if it's an ongoing project? Do you report it every hour, every day, every week, or you report it only once a period, once a quarter, once a year? And the last but not least, when we are partnering with others, partnering with our non-Lion partners, or we are working with other clubs, how do we report the story? I'll just give you a quick example that we, like many of our clubs, worked with Summit Club to pack the meal for Hungary. When we were packing those dry meals, I think we packed about like 21,000 meals. So is that every single club who participated will report 21,000, or how we will distribute those numbers? That need to be discussed among all the partners and then reported. Or sometimes when we are guessing stuff, if there are two clubs that are providing service, say if Edison Visionary and Somerville Metro are working on a project, and we provided service to some people, and we guessed the guess of Somerville Metro is like 300 people, and guess of Edison Visionary is 500 people, and we report the same service with two different guesses. That is to be avoided when we are telling the story. Our story should add up, and that is what we need to do. Okay. So now we avoided the technology so far. I had decided to even avoid the word report, but like I'm so used to that word that like I ended up using that. So let's go to quickly go over the reporting system that we have. No big deal. Don't worry about technology. It is going to be as simple as any other thing, like the Zoom that you use. You clicked and you are here. You go to your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whichever is your favorite social media. And whatever that you do, it is not any more complicated than that. Okay, so let's go very, very quickly over what this whole thing is all about. Simple thing, just like you go to facebook.com, instead of going to facebook.com, go to lionsclubs.org. Okay, simple. Just remember, it is Lions Clubs, not club with S, lionsclubs.org. Once you go there, there is, what do? There is a member login at the top. Go to member login. It takes you to a screen like this, which allows you to, if you are not registered, to register. If you are already registered, use your account ID and password and sign in. Again, you do that every day with your Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media that you use. It takes you to this screen. We have several integrated applications into that one login. We have My LCI, which talks about the member records. Inside, this is a dashboard for the activities all over the world. If you want to see what's happening anywhere around the world, look at what the districts in Cambodia are doing, or a club in Zambia is doing. It's all available in Insights. Then one of the things that I'll stress, emphasize, Learn. Learn is very good app. You can go and take online courses as and when you want. There are a bunch of courses, not only Lions related, but skill development like public speaking and active listening and so on. They are available. So please try that Learn app. I'm sidetracking our main story, but when I'm at it, I wanted to promote that. And if you want some retail therapy, we do have a shop there, just in case. But today we are going to talk about MyLion. So when we logged in, just click on that MyLion. It'll take you to this screen. There are several things that we have here. Again, without any complicating anything further, just let's touch on a couple of things. When you log in, there is a dashboard which shows your signature activities and the upcoming activities. How do we get those upcoming activities? Either you or somebody from your club creates that activity. You go on the top, plan future activity, and create that activity. This anyone can do from your club. Planning a future activity can be done by literally any lion or a Leo, and they can publish this. Again, I'm not going to go into both the desktop version as well as the app, but as most of you used Facebook on app and Facebook on the desktop and you never had any issues, so I'm just going to talk about desktop. I'm sure that you will catch up with the app as we go. When you click on that plan future activity, this screen shows up. It basically like the things that we talked about, the service types, service project, fundraiser, meeting, or donation. Pick up your the activity that you are planning. that if you choose, just for an example, I've chosen service. You have an option to choose our core causes or any other humanitarian activity. All that you need to do is choose that, and there is this continue button is on the top and the bottom. You can choose that to go to the next page. At a second stage, you choose the project type. I had in the previous screen, I had chosen hunger, so it will give me the choices for hunger. If I would have chosen site, I would have got options like site for kids and so on. You choose your project type, then it's time for filling the details. Again, simple thing. You have done that form filling 1,000 times in your life, so don't have to worry about anything. There are some details about signature activity, whether it is funded by the LCIF grant, the location, the time, and at the bottom you see small little activity description, but you can type in as much as you want. When I'm talking about this, one thing I forgot to mention, on your right, there are these guides available to walk you through your activity, not only just this MyLion thing, but how to do an activity. We would have the project planners and stuff like that on your right. And then one of the important thing is privacy settings. When you announce a project, do you want it for everyone, or only the Leo Lions, or only the people that you invite? You need to make that decision about the privacy of not the project, but like the announcement of the project. We are just announcing the project. Next, when we go there, either you can skip inviting people and keep it global right in the beginning, or you can search for people from a particular club or search for individuals and invite them. After you're done with that, it asks you to review one more time, because you are probably putting things globally. It goes the entire of your input. It lets you preview, and then you can submit. And I hate this particular thing. It says you are finished. You're not finished. You are done with this project. That's simple. You're finished. 3, 4, 5 clicks and you're done. So now when you're done, click OK. You can get back to your landing page, the main screen. When you reach there and you want to report the service, what all that you need to do is go on the top, choose report past activity. When you do that, it takes you to another screen where there are a list of unreported activities and reported activities. Unreported activities, as in like sort of somebody from your club might have created an activity which you want to just fill in the details and report. It reduces your work. A reported activity, so that you won't duplicate activity that somebody already has reported. And by the way, the people who can report from your club are your president, secretary, service share, and administrator. And for the Leos, it is Leo advisor also. So so this is like if you want to report unreported activity, and if it shows up here, we can just click on that, or pick up the unreported activity from there, or you choose the report plus sign from there to start reporting. When you click both, it will take you to the activity page. If it is unreported activity and it has already been there, some of these data might be already in there. The form must be already filled with the information that is being given. Okay, let me just go back for a second so that I will quickly talk about. Okay, so the first type that thing that I missed here is the name of the activity, and then you put in the whether it is a single day, multiple day, date, type of the activity, whether it is a signature activity, which cause, type, project type, which we discussed in creating the project before. Who can see the report, whether it's everyone, your club, or the only Leo Lions. Then a description. This is where the story comes in. This is where you should be writing whatever that you need to write. And then add as many pictures as they allow. That number changes every now and then. Initially, it was only 1, then they were allowing 6, and then it changed back to 2, and it keeps changing. So add as many pictures, and the pictures are not about we standing there and taking our own pictures, but the pictures in action when you are serving the hungry, when you are taking like when you are screening a child. Take that picture and take the permission of the people who are into that picture before you add it to your report here. Once you're done, if you have observed, before you put in the data, it just tells you to, to save as a draft. When the all the fields are not filled, all the mandatory fields are not filled, it just gives an option to save the draft. But when all the options, all the mandatory fields are filled, it changes to save a draft or report, and you can change, like you can choose the report. It tells you successfully submitted. This time it doesn't tell you that you're finished, but you are just successfully submitted. And then you're done. So just quickly going over the steps to submit the report. Simple 8 steps. 1 is find lionsclubs.org. I'm sure all of us can find lionsclubs.org or an app on your phone. Log in. Log into your app or log into the website. Select My Lion. If you're on an app, you choose My Lion. Then select past activities button if you are reporting past activities. Again, this is for president, secretary, service share, and the administrator. The 4th step is click on report. 5th, fill in few details. And hooray, enjoy. And there is one more spot left, the 8th one. All that you do, pick up a glass of your favorite drink and enjoy. So that is what is about service. Let's celebrate our service and make sure that people hear about our service, hear about our stories, and that not only makes us feel that get that fuzzy, warm feeling in the heart, but it helps others to feel better also. So please keep celebrating your service and use My Lion to report. I know that many of other people are scared of My Lion for nothing. As you have seen, it is a simple, plain, simple application. All that you need to do is the same thing that you do when you put something on Facebook or send an email or use any other communication mode, text for that matter. It is no different than using text. So please, please, please report. We have some issues in the club's reporting. We have our district and our multiple district, the clubs are not reporting service. So this should help them to understand how simple it is, how easy it is. And then we'll all celebrate. We'll all have our beverage of choice. Right now, my beverage of choice is water, and I've been talking, so I have to have some more water. So over to you, Rohel.
Okay, thank you, Lion Mahesh, for this wonderful presentation. I like the approach of starting with the service story and how it relates to the second part, which is the crux of this evening's session, and gives us a better understanding, perspective of what we need to do when we go to My Lion. And we are now open for questions. I would like to start with the one on the chat box. And first, VDG Cass, you may ask the question. I know you put the chat box. Let me unmute you.
Yeah, I put that question in the chat box. This is VDJ Cash 16J. Our club raised $5,000 for the purchase of a Nintendo Switch for child life at the cancer patients in the Beth Israel Hospital. How do we calculate the number of volunteers who participate in it, or how many number of hours we can do that, or number of people served in this scenario?
The first part, for the fundraising part, how many hours that you had, that I believe that a particular number is not mandatory. You are providing that service of the providing with a Nintendo PlayStation or whatever that is. I'm not I'm not a gamer, so I don't know the terminology.
No, it's something that kids play and
Right.
Nintendo games and so on.
Yeah. So when it comes to numbers, that is where the other part comes in. You can ask the authorities there into the hospital, how many people, how many kids are going to be benefited from this particular equipment that you are giving them, and that should be the guideline that you would have to report that service.
This is in a day or for the life of this gaming card?
The life of the gaming part.
Well, it's going to be, it's good for, it's warranted for life.
Yeah,
So.
but still, like, how many people are using that you or
Yeah.
me from outside, we won't be able to gauge.
Right.
So to gauge that, it is better to ask the community relation person there, and he or she will be able to tell you how many people are actually going to use that and how many people are going to be benefited.
I have one other quick question, Mahesh, if you don't mind. And that is, will you please expand it more on the opening eye? I know a little bit of it, but I think I want to hear a little more from you.
Sure. Opening Eye is a collaboration between Lions Clubs International and the Special Olympics. The MOU that we have signed, and it was been enhanced every other year, to cover all the Special Olympic athletes all around the world, the local Lions Clubs, with the resources from Lions Club International, provide, like, the screen them every single year, do the detailed testing if they need some correction, and provide them with corrective lenses in whichever format that they would need. Say if somebody's swimmer and they need these swimming glasses, so
right.
They do that, because intellectual disabilities is not only just they cannot process certain information, but intellectual disabilities many times comes with some other disabilities like vision and hearing, and even for that matter some strength in their limbs and stuff like that. So
right.
it is the program that Lions have adopted to in 2002, and that is what we work on. Here in New Jersey, in the Special Olympics, when they have the summer games every year, we are not still fully involved from our district and multiple districts here, but Lions Club International has provided them funding to buy equipments for the screening, as well as they got a grant from LCIF to actually grind the eyeglass, the lenses, to put into the frames and give it to them right there. So wherever, every single Summer Olympics, there are the opticians that they come from one of the optometry schools, and they screen the the athletes, and they give them the eyewear to go on.
If you have time later on, I did have a story that I'd like to share, but only if you have time then. Our
So
whole-
let's take a few more questions, and then we can
yeah.
chat a little later.
Sure.
Okay, Lion Renuka is raising her hand.
Yeah. Mr. Mahesh, I have a question. In activity details, what is mean by signature activity?
Okay, very good question. I should have reached out to I should have mentioned about that right ahead of time. Again, one of the areas that we are all confused about. What is signature activity? Simple logic. What is signature?
Our recognition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the signature activity is how your club is recognized by. Like some of the activities that you do, how club is recognized by. Let me give you an example of my home club, Edison Visionary Lions Club. And this is not like anymore, it's only my club's activity. There are several clubs, including Menlo Park and Old Bridge. We have people from all these clubs, the Middlesex Visionary, they all come together. We do this dance for people with special needs, adults, social for adults with intellectual disabilities. We started that program in 2010. We do that 4 times a year, and we just like keep doing it. So many people in this community who support the intellectually challenged individuals, they feel that like Edison Visionary Lions Club is all about this social. So that becomes our signature activity. If you go everywhere in the world, or especially in the mid-America, the Dakotas and everything, the moment that you say lions, they say, "Oh, you are the guys who collect eyeglasses." Okay. So that is our signature.
So basically, it's the one that you're recognized for, the one that you do on a frequent basis, or it depends on the frequency and magnitude of it. So every time people see you, then they remember that activity.
It's like you do Easter egg hunt every year. So that's a signature activity. You have pancake breakfast every year. That's a signature activity.
Whatever the, sorry to interrupt you. Whatever the activity, if we repeat the same date and same year and the same day, it is called.
That can be, but like as I said, like it is as simple as signature. You decide what your signature is.
Okay.
Okay. So like how people recognize you by.
I'm a professional classical dance teacher.
Okay.
So I'm a dance teacher. My recognition is right.
Yeah. So your signature activity is dance.
Yes.
Okay. So like same thing as with the club, the signature activity could be something that the club is known by. As Vice Governor Cash was saying, they do this Easter egg hunt. So I'm sure like the kids in their town are just looking forward to that day. Like sometimes if it becomes so regular that people don't even have to think. Like again, one of the activities that my home club does with other clubs is we provide a meal, a lunch, Thanksgiving meal for the homeless and underprivileged. Okay. Now, last few years, we don't even invite people anymore. We don't even tell people about volunteering anymore. People just show up because it has become just a fact of life. Every Thanksgiving, 10, 11 o'clock, we are all going to get together and serve the homeless. That's what it is. So when that becomes a norm, it becomes a signature.
Thank you.
Any more questions? I can see the others. I cannot see them. They're raising their hands. You could use the reactions at the bottom if you want to.
You can unmute also.
Or unmute or talk. Yeah, we talk.
If we don't have a question, Cash did have a story to talk about.
Yeah. Okay, so I was teaching in a high school in Newark, and it's mostly uh, it's urban area school. So there are a lot of kids who come from broken families or families with some problems or something like that. Very, I would say, not even half the kids come from families where you can call a united family, or there's a father and mother and stuff like that. So every year, our school would organize an essay competition, and we used to give out first, second, and third prize. And I was very new in the school, and when I saw that essay competition, what must be second year of my teaching there, we got like 16 entries, and each one of the kids, they wrote their story, not for essay the way essay is supposed to be a subject and this and that, not in a special organized manner, but they spill their guts out, that what they face, what they come from, they're supporting their parents, or their parents in the hospital or drugs or whatever the case may be. It was very touchy. Each one of the essays was very, very touching. So I went to I went to a couple of my colleagues and said, listen, I am kind of very touched and disturbed with this thing. So why don't we do this? If you don't mind, I'll chip in money. And if you mind, if you come up, maybe instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe we can make 5 or 10, maybe, depending how many people participate. So we had a monthly meeting with the principal, and I brought that up there. So I said, I'll be very happy to chip in. And each one of the essay deserves to be, each one of them deserves to be an award, because they open their guts, they open themselves. And it's not that easy. And everyone had difficulties. They're facing like challenges every day in, day out. And we worry about when they come, why they're late, 2 minutes late, or why they're not dressed up properly or something like that. So long story short, I raised my hand, I gave my $100. And there were 35 teachers there in the meeting there. Everybody echoed and everybody gave money. So the principal said he would double it. He said he will double the money. And though we awarded every one of them like $500 a piece. It was amazing. I will never forget.
Yep. I can just like sort of, if we have a couple of minutes, I can just add to one more story which can affect a life, giving story right here around me. My home club was a very, very new club. It was just a couple of years old club. And there was a big fire in Woodbridge, not too far from where I live. And there were about 60 immigrant families, and all of them were migrated here in less than 2 years or so. All of them were affected. Fortunately, there were no fatalities, but everything that they owned, everything was lost. So we went in there and we did our need assessment. We figured out that one of the need that they had was to take care of the kids because they were bothering them, obviously. So we went there and we threw a party for them. We brought in a clown, we brought in a magician, and brought in pizza and cake, and we had fun. Where I had a young child in the house that time, which was like 8, 9 years old. Obviously did not know what's going on, but he was just like having fun. So one thing that we were doing was, since these kids lost everything, we did a toy drive and we got several toys for them. And one of the things that we thought of, and it was age appropriate toys, we had a list and we matched the needs, etc. But Ojas, my son, he had a bike, which he was not using anymore. He was grown out of that. So we asked him to donate that, but he loved his bike. He said like, no, that is my bike. I had like all that thing that you all might have seen, that I don't want to give it to me. It is my bike and whatnot. But that somehow we ended up convincing him. He took that bike. I said, like, sort of, you give it to that kid by yourself. And he went and he gave that bike. And till date, who just keeps talking about his life changed because of that moment. Because when he gave that bike, he saw this kid started jumping up and down, and he saw that pleasure in his eyes, and that happiness, and who just got so hooked on to helping others that for you to give another news is on 7th, coming 7th of March, his club, his first club that he's chartering in his campus would be chartered on 7th of March. Vice President Brian Sheehan is flying from Minnesota to give a charter to the George Washington University Campus Club on that day.
Yeah, very nice.
So that changed, like, simple thing, but it changed his life.
Any other stories?
I have a
Or
story.
question? Okay. Go ahead, Valerie.
My daughter, when I first joined the Lions, it was in Connecticut, and my daughter and my 3 grandchildren were the 3 younger, they were teenagers, so they were like Leos. And my daughter is an interpreter for the deaf. So we decided to try and do something, because so many deaf people really don't have much outside activity. So we rented a park. We enlisted the rest of our family, and we rented a park. And we got one of the family to cook hamburgers and hot dogs. We had some boats, some paddle boats. We had a hayride, and we had about 50 people there. And it was a really nice day. It was all day affair. I had one of my girlfriends come up from New Jersey to help too. So it was just a nice day.
See, we all have stories. We know how to tell the stories. All that we need to do is use that small little form and put it on My Lion.
Then
I'd like to tell my story, if I can.
Sure, Council Chair.
Thank you so much. At this present moment, I'm a council chair for the district. I'm still a Lion. I don't consider myself with the name, but that's what they have me at this present moment. But during my year as a governor, and Mahesh was our council chair, we went he asked me, listen, that there's a doctor and some Leos that are going to the Dominican Republic, and I was wondering if maybe you would like to join them. And I tell you that year, as a district governor, we worked very hard to accomplish the many things. And I said, man, I thought that the year was over. And as a result, Mahesh convinced me that to go down to the Dominican Republic. So I went off to the Dominican Republic to do that service. And to let you know, when I got to the airport, I was waiting for this gentleman. His name is Masanello, which we met over here in New Jersey. And I called him up. I said, listen, I'm over here in the airport. And he goes, yeah, I'm waiting for you over here. And I said, I don't see you. I'm in front of the airport. And he says, what airport are you at? I said, I'm over here in such and such an airport. He goes, listen, you're at another airport. I'm over here in the Capitol. I said, are you kidding me? He goes, I said, is there a helicopter or a plane that I could take? He goes, it's driving distance. I said, how far is this? He goes, you're going to be driving about 5 hours. I said, how the heck am I going to get over there? He goes, you got to get a taxi to get over there. I said, oh my God. Now I'm over here in a country that I don't even know, and someone's going to take me that I don't even know who's going to drive me, and I'm going through the mountains. And I said, what the heck did I get myself into? So I eventually, needless to say, I eventually got that to the Capitol. And what I received was a beautiful with the welcome with the Leos at the from the Dominican Republic, the governor, or the district governor, and everyone was there welcoming me with banners. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, it's great. So needless to say, the next day that we met with Dr. Mina and her children that are Leos as well, and the Leos from the Dominican Republic, they were there, and we started doing the service activities. We went to the 3 poorest towns in the Dominican Republic, and we did it. And Mina and her family, they brought the
we had the clothes, that we had the groceries, we had food, that we did the eye screening, we did diabetes as well. And what was really, this is the aha moment. This is where I became a real lion after all these years. When you start serving these individuals that don't have nothing but the shirts on their back, and you know, and it actually reflects on me when I'm from Cuba, and I was born in a farm with no running water, no electricity, dirt floors. My mom would give me a bath in the river. That's where I seen the aha moment, when I seen those kids. And when we did the eye screening, and we had about 1,000 glasses, and we had the Leos giving out those glasses that actually helped those individuals, and they started hugging me and they started thanking me, and the kids are crying, the parents are crying, we were crying, everyone was so emotional. And I said, oh my God, you know, this was the best experience that I've had as a lion. Until this day, I still get goosebumps. And the determination that these other individuals that are lions over there are helping their country. Till this day, right now, at this present moment, the individual that actually was at the vice district governor, right now she's going to be running for district governor. She invited Mahesh and myself to their inauguration, and we're actually donating 2,000 glasses to the Dominican Republic as we speak. And we're getting that going and so she could start also giving out those glasses in the Dominican Republic. It was breathtaking. It was amazing, and I would love to actually do that again. And I really enjoyed it. That was the aha moment when I said, you know what, this is where I actually really became a lion. So, and I could also relate to Baba Copeland in his experience as well in the Dominican in the Philippines. And this, when you go to these third world countries and you see these individuals that that they can actually help or give you anything in return, but you actually receive more, which is that self-gratification of helping those individuals. And that's what we do with as Lions. We're here to serve. So I thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sisi. Armando, got lost there. Yeah, it's a nice story. Service really equates to joy, right? As we have experienced and as we know, that's why we have this year's international theme, service from the heart. When you give ourselves in the service of others, you really feel that joy inside.
Yeah, I want to share something. Rohel, can I go ahead?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So in USA, by performances, dance performances, I used to serve fundraise. But when I visit India, after marriage only, I just started cooking. So I thought, okay, I wanted to cook and myself and my parents also, I want to taste them, let them taste my cooking, how it tastes. So when I started cooking, they were impressed my cooking taste and everyone. So my father said, why don't you cook for someone, those who are in need? So just very near to my house, there is an orphanage and old citizens people, senior citizen people. So on my brother's birthday that day we just offered them, and I cooked a lot of dishes like one biryani, two more dishes like curries and everything, and we served that day. And that day we planned something else actually because of birthday. But when we served that day for the orphanage people, when they unexpectedly, because we didn't inform before, and all of a sudden we went and we want to do something for today's thing, food time. So they said okay. Then when we provided all the dishes and everyone, the kids who were in the orphanage, they were very happy because it's unexpected thing. So that day I thought it's okay. Then after that incident, taking that moment, after seeing their eyes, the happiness, my friends group, 4 or 5 people, we together did one day, whole day, doing all snack items, fundraising kind of thing. And whatever the amount we just got 8,000 rupees on that selling that snack items. We gifted a almara to the kids to put all their clothes and everything.
Thank you, Lion Renuka. So we really would like to have more time for this because all of us have wonderful stories about our service activities for sure. And Lion, okay. DJ Varsha, any last thoughts before we close this evening session?
First of all, thank you so much, PCC Mahesh, for giving a lot of details about my LCI through the storytelling. And this is a really very interactive session when our members are sharing their stories. So they are talking from their heart. And when we are talking from our heart, we will do the best service. That's why our international president theme is service from the heart, right? And with this, thank you so much, CC Armando Guerra, for your support. Thank you so much, PCC Jack, for your support always. Thank you so much, First VDG Cash, and thank you so much, all the district officers, all the members of District 16J, 16N, and 16L, and all around the world. Today, I can see Dr. Gopal Moore from India. He also joined our session. And with this midwinter refresher is concluded, and we learn a lot, and we are looking forward for more and more training opportunities for our members. So Rohel and Cash, you should take forward this session into the next level. And again, thank you so much, PCC Mahesh. You're always a great mentor. I want to share my story, but now we don't have a time. But next time, we will do only share your story session. What do you think? Yes. Share your story.
That would be great.
Send a Google form. Everyone has to register. Those who are first come, first base, right? So everyone will get a chance to share their stories. And I think that's the best way to do our service from the heart, because when we are sharing our stories, a lot of other people inspired.
Definitely.
And thank you so much for your support, and looking forward for more training session with everyone. Thank you, Rohel, for taking this initiative.
My pleasure.
Cash, can we have a one word from you, and then the Armando, and then the Jack Romano, please? And then, of course, if Gopal Moore, because you are from India. I think you can unmute everyone, Rohel.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. DG Varsha and Rohel, and more importantly, Lion, PCC Mahesh, Chitnis. Thank you so much for the wonderful midwinter series. It was a huge effort, I'm sure. You have worked day and night, and it came out so beautifully. And we all are winners in this game. And I'm sure we will do better going forward in membership and growth and service and leadership as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, VDG Cash. PCC Jack.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is a great thing to do, and I hope that this will be continued into the next administration for next year. I like the ideas of the stories, and not to belittle the point, but I would be willing to go on to the next session that's just for stories, because I've got a couple of real doozies. So I'm just going to leave that hanging there for now, and you're going to have to wait until the next time to hear what it's about.
Save them for me.
Well, as long as you invite me, I will save them for you.
Of course. You'll be top of the list.
Thank you, PCC Jack and CC Armando.
Sure. Well, for me, I'm really excited about these meetings, these Zoom meetings. We actually have taken the Zoom meeting and actually have elaborated and have used it to the benefit of sharing it worldwide. And that's how we can meet. We could actually be here, and we can actually be seeing many people from around the world. So let's
automatically
continue
grace
to keep
eye.
on serving. Let's
That's
continue
the
to keep on
secret of
attending
receiving
the Zoom
grace.
meetings.
You think that
And
by
we
praying you will
appreciate
receive
all of
grace,
you
but
for,
then
for
that
taking
is
the
okay
time
for the beginners.
for being here.
But
Thank
already
you
if
so
you have
much. Thank you
received,
for
and if you have
Mr.
not
Mahesh,
received, if you have not
Mr.
expressed your gratitude,
Rahel,
then
and
the Lord will
Aditi Varsha
wait.
for putting all this
When will
together.
you
We
transform?
appreciate it.
It is not that मुझे chocolate चाहिए तो chocolate दे
Thank
देंगे,
you so
biscuit
much,
चाहिए तो biscuit
Armando.
दे देंगे,
I
ice cream
think
दे देंगे
someone
तो ice
has some
Someone
another
has-
story is going behind on the background.
I couldn't find it. Anyway,
Okay,
yes.
Gopal, one word from you.
A
Thank
quick
you.
question for
Thank
Dr.
you.
Gopal. Visha, where are
Thank
you
you,
from?
PCC, Mahesh, DG, Varsha, and all the fine lions. Every story will be an inspiration for someone else. That is, we learn in Lionism. And if somebody's story can be inspiration for someone, it can change the lives of millions of people in the world. And that's what the storytelling and sharing our experience will give us a path. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, PCC Mahesh, once again. And I am thankful to all of you for having this kind of meeting where we can also be part of it and hear the story, which can be inspire me and the lions like me around the world. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you
Dr.
so much.
Gopal, which state are you from?
I am from 320A, Hyderabad, India.
Hyderabad. Thank you.
Thank
It's
you
early
so much.
morning.
Thank you so much, everyone. And over to you, Rohel.
Okay, I think we are now close. We're now closing the refresher series for this mid-year. And thank you so much for joining us during this past several days. And it's been a wonderful experience for all. And I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and stay warm. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so
Good night,
much.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Good
Good
night all.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Varsha, do you want me to close it or
Yeah, you close it. It means you can get the recording.
no? I have recorded onto the cloud, so you would
Okay,
have
so
that.
it will be with you. Yeah.
It will be with you. When you
Me?
log in, it will be on the Zoom account.
Okay.
Varsha, have a
Okay,
safe
I'll
trip.
check.
Take care. All right?
Oh yeah, I was not paying full attention. I have to pack my stuff, so everything is here with me. I'm packing. That's why my camera was off and on because
I
morning.
took a picture. I'll send it to you so we can post.
Did you took my picture or you forgot to take my picture?
I took everyone's the screen picture.
Yeah, I'm leaving at 7:30 in the morning. Yeah.
So Armando, we won't be having our episode 7 next week because Varsha won't be here. So we're moving it to next month. And Mahesh, of course, yeah.
So means Mahesh, Armando, we all can be,
Just like I'm not being difficult here, but let me know ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because I have so many of these dates that are booked.
What is the 7th? You just send an email. So he's coming in person in Washington, DC.
Yeah.
So we all are going.
If all are invited.
All are invited. Armando, let's go. I'm coming on 5th.
Yeah, it is a 7th evening. Right now, we just got the confirmation from Brian yesterday. So there is no hall booked. There is nothing booked at this moment. We are still working on the details. But it is going to be 7th evening, no matter what, wherever it is.
It's
going to
Tuesday,
happen.
right? It's a Tuesday.
Monday. It's a Monday evening.
Oh, Monday evening. Yeah.
So there is as I said, sort of the details are sketchy, but everybody's invited. Just let us know ahead of time because
we can make a plan, Armando.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. At the Varsha, I was looking to take a flight. It only runs me about an hour.
Compared to what, 4 hours?
It was about 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours.
And in that hour, I'm sitting.
I have to drive because I have to take a bunch of stuff for him. Because like they are students, don't know the stuff, and there would be protocols, and
Yeah.
there are like sort of potentially vice president and at least 4 to 6 directors, past international directors. So
Yeah, we'll be with you in Facebook through your postings.
we'll see how.
Okay.
Again, it's still planning is on.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay. So Mahesh, I have to leave now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a safe
Bye-bye.
trip, Asha. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck
Bye-bye.
to the family, and
Yeah. Yeah.
hope everything goes well.